you for joining me. I am Anushka and this is your May 2017 astrology forecast. Okay, so the two big things this May are the North Node is going into Leo, which gives us all a sense of fun and connecting to our heart center and creative expression. And Saturn's trining Uranus, which is brilliant. It's positive change, and this is fantastic energy that will be going on to the end of the year. And this is about reform, and this is about liberation on a personal level and a collective level. So let's go into the dates. On May the 3rd, Mercury goes direct in your 12th house. And this is where, you know, your thinking has probably been a bit behind the scenes. You probably haven't been that communicative. And I feel like you've been reviewing things on a personal level and perhaps going over maybe old wounds, maybe limiting self-beliefs, things like that. Things that are quite personal to you. Maybe you've been connecting more with your spirituality, but you've been needing a bit more kind of downtime. I know, you know, happy birthday, by the way. I know, like, usually the birthday time is sort of as a time where, you know, we're out there and all of this, but I feel like maybe for you it's been a bit more muted this year, Taurus, because there's been so much going on behind the scenes. And so Mercury's going to start going direct in your 12th house now. And so it's almost as though you've been doing a little bit of clearing the cobwebs and thinking about things on a very personal level. And now you're getting clear on it. And so, you know, Mercury goes direct and it's almost like, okay, right, I put that in its rightful place, and now I can kind of move forward with a better understanding of who I am or where my spirituality fits into my life, those kinds of things, or maybe putting the past where it belongs. But obviously with Mercury direct, we can... it's okay to sign documents again, you know, it's alright to be buying major items, all the usual kind of stuff can resume activity. Okay, on the 9th we have the Sun in your sign trining Pluto in your 9th house. And so this speaks to me of, first of all, you could be feeling very powerful on this day. You could be feeling quite exuberant and people might find you quite compelling, and you might have quite a presence about you, that if you've got an interview to go to, this would be a great day to have it. But this is quite, you know, the Pluto is kind of empowering you. It's making you feel quite powerful. You might be feeling a little bit more psychic and in tune with your more kind of psychic nature on this day. At the same time, if there's anything going on in terms of legal issues or higher learning or travel, if there are any plans that you want to put into place, or if you're doing anything in terms of those things, you could have a breakthrough here. You might feel like you're feeling bold enough to go travel somewhere on your own for the first time in your life, or to learn something you've always wanted to learn. But Pluto is transforming how you grow. Pluto is transforming your long-term plans and goals and your higher belief system, you know, and it's really transforming your growth there. So you'll probably feel this quite a lot on this day. It can be quite an intense, transformative and powerful day. And you'll probably be coming across as quite powerful, you know, probably have quite a presence to you. On the 10th is when the North Node moves into Leo. So the North Node was in Virgo, in your 5th house in Virgo, but in Virgo, you know, it was a bit more nitpicky, it's a bit more critical. It was a lot of us were doing work on ourselves, and so you might have been doing a lot of work on yourself in terms of looking at how you have fun, or how you are in romance. You might have been looking at that a lot. You might have been taking your hobbies quite seriously. But now with the North Node moving into Leo, we can actually really have fun. We can connect with that heart center, and we can start being more expressive and really kind of show the world who we are. We all have our own unique gifts, and with the North Node in Leo, it's kind of saying to us to bring out those gifts and share them with the world. For you, it's in your 4th house, so I feel like you're going to get, you know, your relationships with your family and your most intimate kind of home life, that kind of thing, that will be the place where you'll probably find a lot of joy and fulfillment and fun. Not saying you don't already, but you'll probably find that this kind of fosters even more loving and maybe even playful relationships with those who you're close to at home. So home could become a real source of support and emotional fulfillment, even more so than it has done. You might find that some of your happiest times are with those your nearest and dearest in the privacy of your own home. This could also be a great time as well to start up a business, a creative business from home. if that's something you've been thinking about doing, this could be quite supportive in that respect. Okay, so then also on the 10th we have a full moon in Scorpio. And this full moon is quite an intense full moon. It can be quite a healing full moon. I feel like this one can go one of two ways. Full moons highlight, and they kind of bring things to a head. So if you are in partnership with somebody, if you've got a partner, and there have been any issues surrounding intimacy, jealousy, control, power, shared resources, anything like that, you know, all the usual basically that we have to deal with in relationships, and they haven't really been dealt with, they haven't really been kind of looked into or spoken about, this could highlight those. And they could highlight them and give you an opportunity to heal these issues with your partner, or they could highlight them in a way that makes you go, do you know what, I don't know if this is what I want anymore, I don't know if this is working for me. So this is something that really could be highlighted. On the nicer side of it, you know, well, obviously the healing aspect is really positive, but on the other side of it, this could also be very sensual. You could end up feeling very sensual. This could be quite a sexy time with your partner, quite an erotic time, very steamy, because Scorpio is all about intensity and like passion and lust. So it could play out in that way as well. For those of you who are single, this could be very healing for you, just in terms of, it could just bring to light, especially if you've had any kind of, if you're still harbouring any hurts from past relationships, this could really heal any kind of residual energy that is left over from damage, you know, damage that's been caused by past relationships. So this could be quite positive in that respect. Right, on the 12th we have Mars in your second house, and that is trining Jupiter in Libra, and I feel like this is a really lovely day. It's quite supportive, and it might see you being quite generous. You might be giving a lot of your time, a lot of your energy to others, in service of others, and just feeling very altruistic and magnanimous. And this could be lovely because this could come back to reward you. It could be that you end up getting, you know, you don't really think much of it at the time, but you give of your energy, you give of your time, you give of your resources, and then later on down the line, actually that comes back to reward you in some sort of way that you didn't expect. I'm not saying that's why you should do it though. On the opposite side of it, it could just be that your the services that you give are recognised and honoured, and you receive something on a financial level for what you do, what you give. You could get some sort of kind of blessing there. On the 6th, oh no, hang on a minute, I'm jumping ahead. No, I'm not. Okay, on the 16th, Mercury enters your sign. So where your thinking has been very much behind the scenes, and you've been kind of going through things and going over things. I feel like you've been going over like the past a little bit, you know, and on a very personal level. Well, now it's like you've reviewed things and you're going to start becoming a bit more communicative. It's as though you feel a bit more sure about yourself psychologically, and you're going to start communicating with people. You could start communicating with them about the things you've been talking about, but you're going to be a lot more direct. You're going to be wanting to engage with people a lot more. You're going to be curious. You're probably going to be kind of a little bit full of banter and maybe a little bit flirtatious, you know, quite talkative, quite charming, quite curious. And so communication, you know, then becomes highlighted. And that's on the 16th, as Mercury moves into your first house. So where are we now? So then on the 19th, we've got Saturn. Here we go. So Saturn in your 8th house trines Uranus in that 12th house of yours. And this is the other big thing, you know, that I was talking about for this month. So for you, this is really interesting because these are two very private areas of life. Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn in your 8th house, you know, it's there in that house of inheritances, taxes, death and rebirth, and psychic activity, what goes on behind the scenes, you know, deep psychological work, power, sensuality, sexuality, that kind of thing. And the 12th house, you know, where you've got Uranus, is very much our private space. It's our inner world. It rules institutions, it rules prisons, it rules mental institutions. It can also rule escapism as well. So I feel like Sorry, Taurus, my battery died. Anyway, so as I was saying, you've got these two very private and deep houses, and you know, you've got Saturn there trining Uranus in your 12th house, and I feel like this is insights, and I feel like this is really getting to the heart of anything that might have been holding you back. I really feel for anybody who has come from maybe abusive family dynamics, or who has maybe been in some sort of abusive situation with a partner or something like that, this might be what you're working on an internal level. You know, even if you're not in that situation, quite often we have things that we carry with us, baggage we carry with us, that doesn't allow us to live the life we truly want to live. And it creates a blockage in terms of us being able to experience life in a fully engaged manner, and without fear. So, you know, to me, having Saturn trine Uranus there, this is major insights. This is sudden realizations, sudden epiphanies, maybe like an offloading of energy that really was never yours to begin with. Maybe you took on negative beliefs or the negative energy of somebody else, and it's kind of been stuck in you. And if you're doing deep soul searching, if you're doing deep internal work, then this is fantastic for that, and you could get some amazing insights. You know, this can liberate you. This is a real transitional kind of energy, and you can get great positive change and just real insights. And even, you know, if it's surrounding complex family dynamics or a complex relationship, you'll be able to see it all very clearly and put it all in its rightful place. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't require you to throw the baby out with the bathwater, in that you'll be able to, it's not as if you have to change your entire self or your entire personality structure. It's as though you will be able to pinpoint where maybe you've been tripping yourself up, and you'll be able to change that specific thing so that it works better for you. This is great if you're undergoing counselling or therapy at the moment. And also, because Saturn is connected to groups and associations, if you go to any group therapy or you want to get involved with a group of people and that helps whatever healing process could be going on with you, then this is really powerful for that. On the more mundane level, you know, you might be looking at service to others. You might be wanting to be of service. At the same time, you might be dealing with things like joint finances, joint resources. I don't know, you know, perhaps if you've been undergoing a divorce, there could be some good breakthroughs, especially if it's been going on for a long period of time. But this is about bringing order out of chaos. And so I really feel that this speaks to an emotional and mental level. So for any of you Tauruses that have been stuck in any way, whether it's still hung up on an ex or family dynamics that caused you some sort of kind of emotional damage or whatever it might be, I feel like there's amazing power for you to transcend this now. So I think it's great, you know, I love this energy. On the 20th, we've got the Sun entering your second house. So this is going into that area of resources, shining a spotlight on that area for you. And this is coming more into view for you at the moment, your resources, your money, your finances, all of that kind of thing. And you might be researching how to invest your money better because it's in Gemini. You might be looking into ways, you might be speaking to people about possible investments, things like that, trying something different with money or how you use your resources. Resources are also, you know, it doesn't have to be money, it can be our energy, you know, how we use our energy, how we spend our time, that kind of thing. Looking at using it in a different kind of way. On the 25th, then we have the new moon also in your second house. So again, this is like thinking about making changes, thinking about trying something new in terms of where you invest your time, where you invest your money, where you invest your energy. Maybe you want to try something new, maybe you want to learn something new, maybe you are speaking to a financial advisor, saying that actually there is an aspect that comes up. Where are we? I'm sure that there's an aspect that actually I thought really spoke to this. Mars. Yeah, on the 31st, Mars in your second house sextiles Uranus in that 12th house. This can be kind of energy that's, you know, about wanting new experiences, but this could also be some sort of genius insight. It could be just a message that comes to you about how to invest in a different kind of way. Maybe you think about doing something you've never done before with your resources. So you can see where the focus is going, you know. It's going on to your resources, it's going on to how you spend your time, money, energy, how you accumulate it, and maybe you're going to make some changes around that. I jumped ahead a bit there. On the 29th, we've got Mars in your second house opposing... oh, sorry. I think I've gotten really confused. Yes, no I haven't. Okay, on the 29th we've got Mars in your second house opposing Saturn in Sagittarius. And this is a funny kind of energy, so this is some sort of blockage that's coming about in terms of your drive, in terms of your will. You might feel like you're being blocked by forces that maybe seem a bit greater than you in terms of getting what you want. There could be some sort of a conflict there. Maybe you're blocking yourself. Maybe you might see where you, perhaps you might get an insight as to where you have been putting money, where you've been putting your resources, and it actually isn't working out for you, where you've been leaking them, and you might be faced with the truth of that, possibly on the 29th. That's a possibility. On the 31st, I did mention, didn't I, that Mars is sextiling Uranus. That's on the 31st, and that's from your 12th house, so that could be like an interesting idea about how to better invest. So it could be that, you know, you see what's going on here. It could be that you come across some sort of blockage on the 29th. Maybe you see where money's been going down the pan and it's just, you know, it's not really working for you. And then a few days later you get an insight as to how to change that and how to better invest your resources and use them in a wiser kind of way. On the 31st, Mercury in your sign is trining Pluto in that 9th house. And this is quite a... to me, it's quite powerful on a personal level. You might be feeling quite powerful. Your words might have a lot of power. What you speak could have a lot of power. If you're a believer in affirmations, this could be a really good day for doing that. You might start to see the correlation between your thoughts and beliefs and your outer reality and how it affects you and how it affects and how your words affect others, you know, as well as yourself. But this can also be an energy that's very kind of almost metaphysical, and it can have you feeling quite as if you can take on a lot, as if you can you feel powerful and you feel like you can see the broader picture of your life, and you almost feel like you could conquer it, you know. You could be feeling quite kind of thinking thoughts that are quite kind of powerful in terms of like how you're going to get what you want, how you're going to get to where you want on this day. Like I said, you can also be quite psychic and, you know, to do with metaphysics, and so it's an interesting energy that plays out on the 31st. But all in all, I think this is a really good month. And if you have any relationship issues that need resolving, be they with your partner, with somebody from your past, or with a family of origin, then there is definite energy here for healing with that Scorpio full moon on the 10th. And with this trine between Saturn and Uranus, there is real deep healing that can be done. So if that's what you need in order to liberate yourself from maybe past events that have not had a great impact on you, then there's a lot of support there. And there'll be great gifts as a result. Thank you so much for watching, Taurus, and I will see you next month. Tune in for my new moon and full moon videos as well that'll be coming up in May. Take care. Bye bye.